give a speech. I think everybody here.
Turn around like this.
So, this is her 90th birthday party, and she was born in 1935, so I kind of had the same ideas over there. Some of the things that happened in 1935, Elvis was born, so she outlived Elvis. The Beaver Dam was dedicated, so I think the Beaver Dam might be going out on that one. Social Security Act was first started. Persia became Iran, and Hitler started making moves on the world. The radar was invented, and the Parker meter. And then two that I thought kind of interesting, but the first beer in a can was first made in 1935, which was also the year they started AA. So Bonnie's grandparents all immigrated from Slovakia in the 1890s when the U.S. needed coal miners in Pennsylvania. She was raised as an only child. She had one brother younger than her, but he didn't survive his first year in Bayview. Her mother Suzanne was a nurse, and her father Michael was a priest in the Eastern Orthodox Church. He had started out in seminary for the Catholic Church, and he wanted to get married, so he switched. As a young child, they moved a lot. Sometimes she would go to up to 2 or 3 different schools in a single year. They started in Pennsylvania, but made it all the way at least far east to Minneapolis, and they eventually settled in upstate New York, where she went to Dobbs Ferry High School. I first met Bonnie in 1957. That was the year Sputnik was the first satellite ever to go out in space. So I was introduced to Benita by a doctor in Albany, New York. Even though she just married her high school sweetheart, some guy named Don. But I was instantly fell in love with her and thought I might have a chance. So I convinced her to spend a few days alone with me in a hotel somewhere, or maybe it was a hostel or a hospital. I can't remember. But it became apparent really quick that all she wanted to do was go home to Don. So I cried like a baby, but I could see that they were meant to be together. Somehow I convinced her to let me come home with them and live with them in exchange for helping around the house. And Don seemed like a pretty good guy, but he seemed a little lost with the new job and the new wife. So I talked him into joining the Army again, where he had a lot of promotional opportunities and a lot of help taking care of the family. And I tried to convince them both just to have 1 or 2 kids, but they just didn't listen to me. As the years rolled on, they ended up having 8 children. It seemed like kind of crazy, but it gave me job security because I got the job to help them take care of their kids. And then with Don being in the Army, they moved around a lot, kind of reliving her childhood experience. They lived in Massachusetts, Kansas, Virginia, Tennessee, and also got to live in the Philippines and in Germany. Bonnie took care of running the household and was the most organized person I've ever known. Dinner was on the table at 5 o'clock every night of the week. Bedtimes were strictly enforced, and there was a job list posted in the kitchen at all times. And if anyone were to ever challenge her authority or cause any trouble, they were grounded for 2 weeks. That usually meant until Dawn got home. I'm not sure if her experience I'm not sure if her strategy came from experience, or if she read a lot of self-help books, or if it was just the crazy OC genes back from the old country, Slovakia. You'd have to see the rest of the family. When the Sedgwicks moved to Texas and Don transitioned to non-military life, I figured my job was finished, and after 18 years, I moved out on my own. But I always stayed in touch, and I even got invited to all the family meals and the holidays. At last count, the Sedgwick clan has now grown to 59 living descendants, including children, spouses, grandkids, spouses, great-grandkids. She has 10 great-grandkids at this point, if I'm counting right. Obviously, we can't have everybody talk today, but at this point, I'd like to invite any of the immediate brothers and sisters if they had anything they'd like